recording video. That is confirmed. And audio is also now confirmed. Here we go, everybody. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the following program as it begins in 3, 2, 1.
In a peaceful land, paradise is threatened by an unspeakable evil, and only one person has found the power to restore perfect order. In a new action-adventure game for your Super NES comes an exciting tale, The Secret of Mana, from Square, maker of the world's greatest video games.
Oh, that's cocky there at the end, isn't it?
It is. And I've been saying it mana. It's obviously mana.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Play Retro. That's right, this is Play Retro. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Johnson. And when I pulled that sword out of the rock in the river, well, I couldn't wait to slap around some bouncy slime creatures with my hot new weapon. Where did my a-hole friends go, by the way, that pushed me off the waterfall bridge thing?
Jerk.
Well, I'm going to use this sword on them. Use my real-time combat skills to reap my revenge and send them back to the Stone Age.
I think we had a similar experience because I'm your other host, Brian Dunaway, and this mush boom can suck my cocobos. That's right, because I am already dealing with a getting kicked out of my potato village for pulling the mana sword, or mana, like some Excalibur-wielding high fantasy hippie trying to save the world of trees. Current mood, action RPG ass-kicking as soon as this thing charges.
Yeah.
Time to mana up.
Yeah, mana up, everybody.
Mana.
So, I say mana when it's a game where I have resources and I have to keep my mana up. Right. But I think I do say mana when I say the secret of mana. I don't ever say the secret of mana.
Interesting. Right.
Now that I keep saying it,
the hype.
I keep saying it in my head, and now I'm not sure. I don't know how I said it before. But that guy really threw me with his mana. Now it's all I can think about.
Well, now it was a secret of how they say the mana.
The mana. All right.
Yeah, the mana. What is it? Man to man. What is that?
Mana a mana. Mana a mono.
Mana. There you go.
I don't know.
Mono a mono.
Mono a mono. Secret of mono.
You're saying the same words.
Here's the deal, everybody. We're back. It's Play Retro. Sorry for the weird record time. We're actually recording today on a Sunday. This was meant to happen last Wednesday, but I had no water, internet, or power that day. And so I couldn't do any of these things. And also that day got real weird because that night I got one of the worst flus, our whole family did, that we've ever had. Worst stomach virus ever. And I had no water until late Thursday night. So
I'm telling you, you were like E.T.
Yeah.
And you are connected emotionally, physically to your plumbing system.
It feels like it. Or, hey, I heard it.
Ouch.
Do you want to hear the theory? I'll mention it on Film Sack too, but the theory rolling around is you and I had a somewhat famously interesting argument about the meaning of all the rain and water in the movie Minority Report.
Right.
And somebody suggested that this was the
karma.
curse, part of the curse. It was like me getting my comeuppance for what you know had said all those years ago.
There's a chameleon out in your front yard going, his name is Karma.
Yeah.
And that's what you get.
Yeah. Watch out for Karma
Chameleon.
Chameleon.
Karma Chameleon. It's the right words, right?
It is. No, it's not karma. Okay, it's comma, I think, or comma.
It's not comma. It's karma, right?
Is he really saying karma?
Karma?
I don't know. What did Boy George do?
He's not talking about comma. What is it? What is a comma? Comma, chameleon? No, that doesn't make any sense.
Chameleon. It's C-A-M-A.
Comma, chameleon.
Oh, you're right. Karma. It is karma.
Yeah.
Yeah, karma chameleon. All right, you're 100% correct.
Changes.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. Yeah, what was I thinking?
I don't know. Everybody thinks the same thing, though. I was like probably in my 40s before I discovered that, Scott. You don't have to. I'm not saying, oh, look at you, you're so stupid. No. I thought it was caramel. I think I thought it was caramel chameleon or something
caramel?
At one point in time.
That's good.
Caramel.
That's
Caramel.
good.
Yeah.
Look, if you're going to eat a lizard, caramel flavored, better than any other choice.
Right.
That's how I look at it. But anyway, it was a stupid, dumb, really stupid week. And so it's good to be here. we even had a whole nother dumb reason why we had to move Film Sack this morning.
Oh, so stupid. I hate this.
Yeah, I know. I hate it. Which we don't have to bring up here, but it may come up on TMS or Film Sack or something. But anyway, whenever one of us is down or has somebody in their family that's down, we have a rule. Family first is the rule here at the Frog Pants Network. And so we make a little room for what needs to happen. And then in my case, it was, carve my name in the bottom of the toilet. And then
With your laser poo. Is that
with
what
my
you're
laser
saying?
butt. Yep.
Gross.
Yeah. If anyone needs not embroidery, what do you call that?
Yeah, embossed.
No,
engraved.
Engrave. You need an engraving on your iPad or whatever? Let me know.
Right. Oh my
I can
God.
hook you up. Anyway, it was real stupid, but we're here and we're glad, and we're going to be talking about the Mana series coming up. Before we do, though, as I was trying to sort of convalesce and get better, I went on a bit of a golf hunt. And by golf hunt, I mean video golf hunt, because I don't like real golf, like actual outside golf. It just makes me tired. I don't like it.
Right.
But video game golf has always been one of my favorite things. And in particular, I'm a big fan of like really old shit, like the original Mario Golf for Game Boy Color. The N64 game is also excellent. What's weird is those are like contemporaries of each other. They came out like the same year, which is nuts. The Hot Shots Golf series in particular is very good. And so
that's one of my favorites.
Here's what I landed on, because I was like all over the place. I was trying stuff on my Ambernick. There's the PlayStation 1 Hot Shots Golf. 1 and 2 are pretty good, but they're not my favorite. And I couldn't remember what my favorite was. And after dinking around a ton, I figured it out. And my memory's just all messed up about what I was playing was my favorite. My favorite was the PSP game, the Open Tour or Open T.
Open T? Okay.
Open
yeah, I remember that one.
T.
Yeah.
I think it's Open T. Yeah, Open T. PSP game. It became my favorite golf, not realistic golf really necessarily, but still golf adjacent sort of title at that point. But I played everything this week. I played Turf Masters on the Neo Geo. I
don't know why Turf Masters makes me crack up. I think it's anytime you say Masters after something, I think that is. But Masters is part of golf, so that probably fits the most appropriately. But whenever somebody calls something a master at something,
I know it's cornball. It sounds like a Neo Geo title to me when you hear that. Right. It's like Turf Masters. You're Turf on the green. This kind of talk. Anyway, that's a very fun game too. By the way, don't sleep on that one.
Don't sleep on it.
GBA Mario, all this other stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to put out some love for the PlayStation Portable Hot Shots Golf Open T, which runs extremely well on a Steam Deck. Like stupidly well. It's great.
We had this discussion because we were talking about using our favorite new device, handheld device, the Emmernick RG35XX, and it doesn't quite get to the PSP era stuff. It is PS1, and the PSP is more like a PlayStation like 1.5. It's just a little bit more powerful, and just can't do it on the Emmernick.
Right. It gets real close to what PS2 would be in terms of output, and that's just beyond the capabilities of the device.
Too much for the little boy.
But if you've got a Steam Deck or that ROG, whatever it's called, Ally, no brainer, dude. Like I just used OpenEMU again.
Or an Odin. You got an Odin?
I do not have an Odin. I like the Odin though. It looks cool.
It does look cool.
But those are lesser thans, right? I don't think those maybe they can do Dolphin and everything.
They were one of the I think they were they were first to market, right? They beat the Steam Deck and the Ally, the ROG Ally. So
they don't do Windows,
getting close to do a second one, right?
What's that but I don't think that thing runs like Windows games and stuff, does it, or does it?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. We probably need to get one in my hands to find out.
Because I think the Odin, my memory is the Odin is just pure like emulation, and that's it. Like the Ambernick, but capable of higher end systems or something.
Right.
I can't remember. But anyway,
you're probably right.
Just putting it out there. If you're looking for some just like escapism golf where you're checking the wind and you're doing the 3-hit thing, hit once to go out there, hit at the top of the meter, hit it again as accurately as you can on the little marker, bam, perfect hit, nice shot, and it goes flying off somewhere. It's great.
What was that one golf game it tried to be sexy? What was the sexy golf one that was like around the same time?
What was that called?
Golf? What was that? It had all the sexy characters. Was that a Dreamcast game or something?
I don't remember now. Hold on.
Dead or Alive Golf or something weird, stupid like
that.
Oh,
you know what? It might have been. Let's see.
Super Swing.
Okay,
golf?
Don't do an image search for sexy golf game because, good Lord. I can't find this.
There was, let me see. There's got to be. I just remember this. I was like, oh, another golf game. We were really going, especially around Hot Shots. Everybody was loving the Hot Shots, and I was just trying all of them. There was like one that was like a little bit too sexy for my shirt, so I had to okay.
It could have been Dead or
We gotta
Alive.
back
They did
off
the
it.
volleyball thing and some other stuff. By the way, look at that
Right,
image I
right.
found. That's pretty hot. That image I just put in Discord.
That's pretty-
But anyway,
oh my God, that is. Oh my God, Scott, why would you show me a bunch of pale white men naked? Oh my!
Well,
they're
they're all
wearing
playing
socks.
golf.
That's the worst part.
Apparently, in Australia, nude golf is a thing.
How
And,
are these people this white in Australia? The sun's a little. It's rough, right? It's supposed to be.
they're near the
I don't
equator. I don't know. I don't know how it works over there. I
I
don't
thought
know
it
what
was-
they're doing. I don't know how the Australians work. Although Lucky Phil's in the chat, he could probably tell us. But it's the point is, like, this sort of big-headed goofball kind of golf stuff became really
Right.
big around that time. Camelot made the first Hot Shots golf for Nintendo, and or sorry, Hot
Outlaw
Shots
golf.
sorry.
Outlaw golf.
Oh, Outlaw Golf. Yeah, I remember that. That was new. That was like 360 though, or something, or maybe PS2. I don't remember.
Might have been PS. Let me see.
Um,
no, it was the Xbox. That's what it was.
Oh,
it was
was
right
it?
when
Okay.
the Xbox launched. That's right.
That sounds like something they would do
Yeah.
for a launch of
Yeah.
the Xbox. Like how
Outlaw
edgy
Golf,
we
I
are.
forgot
We're
about
we're
this.
for adults over here. Screw Nintendo.
Outlaw golf, the
But
60s
anyway,
video game of all
Camelot
time.
Camelot made the first Hot Shots for PlayStation, and then it got taken over by Clap Hands or whatever they're called.
Right.
And Camelot continued to make all the Nintendo ones, and doing a great job, no doubt about it. But I think that things really peaked around the PSP version of that game, and I think the new one's really good. By the way, the new one that came out on PS4 is still playable on PS5. I think it's on the PS5 or the PlayStation Plus monthly thing right now.
right.
That's a very good version of one of those, and is a modern engine and doesn't look like some old piece of shit. But if you got some like feelings for that old school PSP Hot Shots Golf,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is real good on my Steam Deck and plays like a dream. So check it out.
I'm down with it. I am down.
Brian, what'd you get up to this week while we were, trying to have a show?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Well, I did some. I got back into my 3D printing, and I could not resist looking for something that would fit in with our Mana series from the 90s this week. And I printed out what are called mush booms. These are some of the. Yeah, these are little mushrooms that they get all sparkly and stuff in the game. They explode, they boom. And so I printed these bad boys out, and Audra painted one of them for me so far, which is fantastic. I love it. It is great.
Look at
And I
that.
printed a little larger one to see if I could get her also paint this one. But these are lovely little. I think I got these on printables.com. I think I downloaded the 3D models for it.
The
I'll try to
STLs.
post a link in the show notes, but
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. I never played Secret of Mana, so it was fun digging deep into what the characters, the chobos, and all. Am I saying that right?
Chobos?
Chocobos.
No,
Chocobos.
Chocobos are
I
also
feel like
well.
chobos may be a
Chobos is definitely not it. Chocobos are long history
Right,
thing in
chocobos.
Final Fantasy. It's one of the crossovers, which
yes.
you guys are all hearing this now, and a lot of you are going, "Wait a minute, what does Final Fantasy have to do with my Mana series?" Oh, you
Well,
have
we're gonna get
no
into that.
idea. No
We're
idea,
gonna get
man.
into that.
More than you
But-
think is the answer.
More than you think.
All right,
And we've been really enjoying our little Amber Nicks
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about a few minutes ago. And so I ordered this all the way from China. I didn't mention it to you because I wasn't sure how long it'd take to get here.
yeah.
It took about 4 weeks to get here from AliExpress. And this is a little console, little arcade looking machine right here.
yeah.
And I will tell you, this stick on this thing, this little joystick, like a little, it's just like it's a little tabletop arcade machine, very small, a little larger, maybe a little smaller in my hand actually. But man, this little stick, can you hear that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's
What's
so
on there, by the
fun.
way? Anything like games?
I haven't modified this one at all. It just came in like this, and it's got a bunch of just bullshit games that you would expect on something that came out of, like, here you go, here's just some,
Here's some hacked
it's
ROMs.
always weird stuff like, super jump man. There's Double Dragon there. We could play some Double Dragon.
Double
Got some
Dragon.
Inspector Gadget on there.
Oh well, thank goodness, because
Yeah,
finally,
you got a little Dick
yeah,
there, the wonderful little Dick. Remember that?
Yep.
Magic Pockets. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, listen to that speaker too, boys. That is some high quality stuff right there.
Wow.
I paid $25 for this thing, and it was worth every freaking dollar. It's a translucent smoke gray. You can kind of see the screen from the backside. Plugs in through USB. Got an SD card.
Yeah.
Nice little buttons.
I kind of
Not
want to.
bad for
I kind of want to
20-something
hear.
bucks.
I want to hear this guy.
Oh
wanna
yeah,
hear
I
it
don't
come
know
out
if
of
that's on
that.
here. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Skate or die or don't.
Or don't
skate or get ran over by some bees.
skate
Whatever.
or distort your speaker.
But you can plug in an SD card in this thing. It's like it's got its own little screen. It's just little handheld format that's just funky.
Yeah,
I like it. 2.5 inch screen.
I get this urge all the time to go check out and see what more of those little devices hang around. You know, like what's cool. The Ambernick
It's
really
just
hit
ridiculous.
the spot.
If you don't mind waiting, like a month for something, and you just want to just send China some money,
Yeah.
it's got Super Bomberman tournament, Hudsoft. But yeah, I just thought, why not? I thought it'd be an interesting little thing to find out.
There's some great the NES, the little NES Classic device.
Right.
There's some real rip-offs of that for like $20 now.
Oh yeah, so many.
And they're full of games the other one doesn't come with. It says perfect classic birthdays gift.
Yeah,
choice
great
choice for the
kids,
children /
grandma.
adults. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, there's a Super NES ripoff. That's kind of cool. What's this one? This is like a PSP. Is that? Oh, what?
Oh yeah. Now, just be aware, it is going to be absolute trash.
Oh, I guarantee it. It's just garbage from minute one, right?
Yeah, it's going to be absolute trash. It's not going to be quality. We'll let you know what the quality stuff is, but yeah, it is what it is. If you paid $20 and you put it on your shelf and you put some stickers on it and you goof around with it for a little bit, it's probably you've got your $20 worth.
There's one in here called the 500 gigabyte retro game console hard drive. Has 48,045 games in it. Plug and play retro gaming HDD.
Market.
Yeah, and this thing's shaped like a cassette tape though.
Yeah,
That's
there's
weird.
a big market for that. There's one that's actually fairly legit as far as the quality of it. The legalities of it is not legit, but the quality of it's legit. It's these big hard drives like you're showing on screen right now.
Yeah.
And it's just got tons and tons of games, and there's some that are well curated. If you get the really well curated ones, those are a couple of $100. The one you're showing, of course, is $39.
Yeah,
and it's just a collection of every weird, funky thing that you could ever imagine. Do not recommend, but hey, why not?
Yeah, the reviews are all right on this one. Well,
Right.
no, that's not true. It's kind of low. Hold on, let's see.
Well, it is $39, and it's kind of a novelty. What is it, like 3 stars out of 5 with 4 ratings?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, but there's legit drives out there. And when I say legit, once again, I'm talking about quality,
Yeah,
not legality.
yeah. Quality is that's important to note.
Right.
Does anybody make? Oh, they do this SP looking thing. The foldable's kind of interesting to me.
Right. Yeah, I do find those interesting.
And which is basically, my Ambernick but folded is what I'm looking at.
Yeah. It is the SP, right? It's the Game Boy SP clamshell types. Look, you just pass by that one that I have.
Oh, you've got that? Yeah,
that one with the little stick and stuff on it.
So if I go to ambernick.com.
Oh, they actually got a pretty nice site, and they've got distributors in the U.S. So even though it's usually kind of fast when you order stuff from those guys.
Wonder how their Win 600 is. That's their one that'll run Windows.
Yeah, that's some of the newer ones. I have not tried those yet, but so far everything that Ambernick has put out that I have received has been fairly decent, especially for the price. And every time they send me the quality hardware, they also want to send me some bogus bull crap SD card with a bunch of crap on it. I'm like, just don't send me this. And it's like, well, we have an option for not sending you to the card. I'm like, okay, I'll take that, but that's sold out. Dang it. Fine. Send me the one with the card. I'll throw it away.
How do you feel about these micro ones? Have you seen these? They're tiny.
Oh, the micro ones are useless. That's kind of like the micro ones are they're really it's like the ones we have, but it's like half the size. So instead of the RG35XX, it's like half the size. It's got a 2.5-inch screen, which is just super small. And if you have hands, it might be okay for a 5-year-old. Here you go.
Yeah.
But for an adult, they're about the size. They're a little larger than a Dreamcast VMU.
Yeah.
That's they're maybe like twice the size of that.
It's interesting
Too
because
small.
Some of these like the Ambernick RG35 3V, which is like that.
That's the next one up from I think what we have.
Yeah, and that one's got like dual sticks on it.
Yeah, because it's got a stronger processor and it can actually do the PSP games and those games that use the dual sticks.
That's not too bad. Would the garlic shit just move right over? Do you know?
I'm not sure if I think there is a it's according. A lots of times the ones that get to that level, they don't run Linux, they run Android, or maybe run a combination of Android and Linux. And once you get to that, you're talking about a different firmware and OS and different things. But if you're wanting to emulate things like N64 and beyond, that usually has to run on the Android operating system, from what I've seen on these small mobile devices. It just makes better use of these mobile CPUs.
Gotcha. Well, all I know is every time I go here, it makes me want to buy about 10 of these, and I got to stop looking. That's what I have to do.
Right. Yeah.
Because I like this crap. Well, all right, then. Let's get into today's discussion, everybody. Get ready for our main topic. Hold on to something.
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts, son.
Shall we play a game?
We shall indeed. The game we're going to play, at least initially, is Final Fantasy Adventures. And you say, Scott, wait, you mentioned the Mana series. Oh, yes, I did.
What is this you're talking about?
Yes, I did. Well, you might be surprised to hear that Final Fantasy Adventures on the Game Boy, not even Color or Advance, there was a game called Final Fantasy Adventures, and it sounded like this. Whew. It's a loud one, isn't it? Pretty typical Final Fantasy hokum going on there.
Yeah, on a Game Boy at that, right?
Yeah,
That's
for sure. So this is a weird game. I played a bit of it. It is very poorly translated. I just want to put that out there. This is an era where translations were a lot fishier than they are now.
Right? We'll go ahead and start talking about Ted Woosley. I'm not sure if he did this one, but I'm pretty sure he did The Secret of Mana. So, yeah, English translations were a fun topic this past week for me to study on this series because of the limitations of what you got going on screen.
Yeah. You know what he basically... Okay, here's what they made with this game. And it's going to lead into what they made later, too. But this Adventures game was like, hey, we know you know Final Fantasy and you're all done the turn-based thing that we do. But what we'd really like to do is compete with Nintendo on the Zelda front. We don't have a good Zelda competitor. So you know what? We're going to make that, and it's going to have puzzles and real-time combat, and you're going to have a little bit of story going on. And when you go from one screen to the other, it's going to respawn everybody. And if you go back, it'll spawn them again. Like, it's basically... You would not be... I would not be critical of you if you came to me and said, this looks like Zelda. Of course it does. Like, straight up it does.
because it is. And they didn't even try to... They even tried to sell it in the U.S. as a Final Fantasy game, because that's what we knew Square for, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, they'll recognize this name. And it really, other than, it's got, it's got the creator who's doing this is, really heavily involved with the Final Fantasy series. And, and so it made sense, and it's Square, and it's like, that's what you sell us on. In Japan, it was known as, I'm going to butcher this, Seiken Densetsu.
That sounds right.
And it's the legend of the sacred sword. And we bought it. We said, okay, sure, why not? We'll buy a few of these.
Yeah, it went all right. This game did okay, and it's interesting in one way because I remember at the time thinking this was unusual, that you could have a partner character that would run around with you. It didn't happen all the time, but you would have a companion. It reminded me of, like, I don't know, Diablo or maybe Skyrim or something, where you got sorry, I just read some of the text. Dark Lord is looking for girl. It's like, good Lord.
Well, yeah, Dark Lord. Who isn't?
The localization is really something to see. But
anyway, they simplified the story down.
But they added some of those stuff in there that I felt like at the time was kind of new and interesting. The way the game handled specifically the power gauge system.
Oh yeah,
that was interesting. Like, I don't know, in a lot of ways it was saying, hey, yeah, it's Zelda, but also we have some ideas.
Right. And so if you had been a Final Fantasy player, you're used to playing these JRPGs where you have to go, and you basically have to have fights, right? You have battles, you encounter battles, and you go to a different screen. You have to manage all the fighting and, and picking and moving through menus and stuff. They wanted an action more like Zelda here. And so they still wanted you to feel like you were, you were restricted a little bit. So you weren't just OP. So you got this meter bar that like builds up. And when the bar goes to the top over time and you make a strike, then you really make good hits, good points come off the enemy, and you move on. And so I thought that was good, because otherwise you really are just hacking and slashing, running around, killing everything. But you've got to manage your resources.
Yep, and you got to save the
Yep,
mana
RPGs.
tree because there's this. Mana tree, I guess. I don't know.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
But there's a tree, and it's full of mana, and boy howdy, do you got to keep that thing safe.
Yeah, because you start off as a prisoner of the Dark Lord who's looking for the girl.
Yep.
And you escape and you go on a little rampage because the world has turned all of your little mush booms and stuff into baddies, and you've got to destroy them.
Yeah. What else can you
Post-haste.
do? It's all you've got, really.
You've
is to
got no
try to
choice.
Save the world. Okay, so as weird as the origins are, we're talking 1991 here. This weird little experiment. Turns out it wasn't that weird. They had other stuff up their sleeve, and we were about to get this. It's a much more dramatic sort of experience, right? We're feeling the drama of what's to come. So what we're talking about here is the Secret of Mana. This is the one everybody points to and says,
Yeah.
"Oh
this
yeah,
is where
Secret of Mana."
this is where we got involved, right? This is where people have at least seen it.
Yeah, or this is where it's solidified as somebody's favorite of the era or whatever. And there are a lot of people. You talk to a lot of 16-bit era console gamers, and they will tell you this is right up there, high on the list of their favorites of all time. And again, it's kind of a Zelda. It's an answer to Zelda again. Just a 16-bit entry, and they still got the whole mana tree business and all of that. It's a thing, but this got real-time combat, character leveling, weapon upgrading, some really beautiful sprite work.
Right.
Cooperative multiplayer. You can have up to 3 people controlling different characters, which is pretty cool. I never did any of this back in the
I never had
day.
anybody to play with me, and I didn't really play it until later. Like I didn't play this when it was on the SNES.
Yeah, I didn't either. I had people who had it and were like, dude, you don't even know what you're doing if you haven't played this.
It is such a magical, it's such a nice magical fantasy world. I really dug what I saw this past week, and I really got into it. And once again, like Scott said, I only got to play by myself. That's how you roll with the Secret
That's how
of
we
Mana
roll.
for me.
Yeah, we don't have a good option otherwise, but it's fun. This is the one I played the most of. Played on the Ambernick, played on my Steam Deck, and I played it on desktop and moved saves around just to test that out. That was fun. That was a big
And this
pain in
wasn't
the
even
ass.
the game that Koichi Ishii wanted to give us, right? They were originally designing this game for the SNES CD game system. Remember that? Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah.
They were working with the what was it, PlayStation at the time, or Sony. They were working with Sony at the time, and they were looking at having some really big storage space, and instead they had to squeeze all of their love onto one of those little carts, which was much smaller.
Yep.
And
It worked.
so things got tossed out, and they even tossed out a Chrono Trigger game. That's right.
Oh, right.
There were originally going to be some time elements, and they split that into another game called Chrono Trigger. So this thing is full of history.
And don't forget, I mean, Chrono Trigger is considered the greatest JRPG of all time by most people.
Yes.
So you should be glad.
Yeah. This could have been. But what if it had been? What if they had been? It would have been such a weird. It would be like the freaking Sega CD stuff, right? It would have went nowhere.
Yeah.
What would have happened?
Yeah.
Like if Sony had stayed engaged, with Nintendo at the time. Such a weird.
No, it's a
alternate
weird
history
time.
back
Yeah, I would love to go to another time loop and go, all right, how did it go?
Right.
I just want to experience how it went. How did Sony and Nintendo work out in a long haul? Had they stuck with it?
Now, Secret of Mana introduced. Now, when you were playing on the Game Boy, it was still more like your classic JRPGs where you had to navigate a whole bunch of menus and stuff. If you was doing anything, it was real clunky. If you, you had one weapon equipped, and you had anyway, when you were in battles and stuff, especially in the later parts of the game, you had to switch between stuff, and it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
In this one, it has like this wheel thing that pops up.
Yeah, they call it the
pops on
power,
screen.
not power gauge. What's it called? It's called the
The
ring?
power wheels. Power wheels.
wheel.
No, what's it called?
No, something wheel.
Power wheel.
I have it right here, somewhere here.
Yeah. It was Ring Command is what it was called.
Shit. Whatever it is.
Close.
Kind of a new idea. You still see this in games all the time. New games, like a very common way to, you bring up a wheel, choose some stuff from the wheel, and then use the thing in your next attack or whatever. It's easy to think,
faster.
oh, that's always been here, but this was new then. Nobody was doing it.
And I liked it. At first, it kind of threw me because I was like, wait a minute. And some of those wheels get into a lot of stuff. Even like your option stuff is even there. So you can go in and, how you adjust your controls and everything else. It's wild stuff. It's really a really deeper game than I thought it was, because I've played Secret of Mana before. And when I say I've played it before, people said, you should play this. I played it for 10 minutes and went, this is done. This is like Zelda. I'm out.
Yeah, I don't want to play a Zelda clone was the attitude I had at the time.
Yeah. And so I never got any deeper than that. But really digging deeper this past week, I found out a lot of the charm to this game. It's a lot of it, in my opinion, is the visuals and the music. The music is just.
Do you think it's funny that they are that cocky that they call? Let's see, where's that line? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah. I found it. The world's greatest video game, Square says in their ad work. That just seems like the cockiest thing to say.
A little cocky. I'm trying to think at the very moment they said those words, was it true for just a second?
I mean, it was if you were talking about Final Fantasy and the massive influence and game-changing thing that was Final Fantasy, then yes, they deserve credit for that. 100%, they deserve credit for it. They weren't even the first turn-based sort of JRPG style game, but they own that space, right? So I don't know. They deserve some credit of some sort, but they deserve the moniker of greatest video game company of all time. I don't know. Not even the 93. I don't know.
Yes, I guess, from the marketing standpoint, I guess I've heard worse. It's not bad, I suppose.
No, I've heard, blast processing is worse. But I will say the answer is right under their nose. They're building it for this very console. It's freaking Nintendo then was easily the king of the world. Like,
this is true.
Sega in a distant second. Like, that's just the way it was. And I was a Sega guy, and this is me saying that. How can you deny that? So Square going, is Square one of the most important third-party developers ever? Yes.
Yeah.
Are they the best ever? No.
Were they Square Enix yet? Are they Square Enix?
By this time, yes.
Point?
I believe so.
Okay.
Let me double check on that. I think so. This was... Because that merger happened in 92, did it?
Right. And 91 was when we got the Final Fantasy for the Game Boy, the Final Fantasy's Adventures, which is not Legends. Totally confusing. Final Fantasy Legends has nothing to do with this series, by the way. And then Secret of Mana was 93.
Okay. Oh, it was still Squaresoft, which didn't have Enix. I don't know.
Okay.
The timeline on that
shortly
is
coming.
The timeline's weird. Let me see.
This is a very successful game too, though. This might have what changed everything. This might have given them the control to move forward.
Yeah. No shade in that direction for sure.
No.
Okay. Here it is. Square and Enix, later surviving company, each share of this. Okay, common stock. Oh, the original Square Enix Co. was formed in April of 2003. That was the merger was 10 years away. Wow. That's crazy. I did not know that.
I know. Feels out of time, right?
Nope, that's effed up in my head. I don't have that right at all.
Right now, if you've imagined Zelda and you've never played Secret of Mana, and this is you're watching gameplay right now. If you're watching the video, he is bringing along an assistant. This is not necessarily a two-player. This does not necessarily mean that there's a second player. You do a lot of quests where you're bringing along another character, and I think that character is the one. Is that the one that heals you like instantly? Because that was crazy. Because
she's a healer.
I feel like I'm cheating here because it was just like on demand.
Yeah, she would just heal when you needed it. She's also playable, so if you did the co-op version, you could play her directly. But the game kind of used her like a bot. You know.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
And she wasn't there all the time, but she was there with you for a while. And once again, same thing. It's not quite the willpower thing that we had in the Game Boy version, but it's similar to that. If you try to go in and attack your enemy quickly, like a mush boom or something,
right?
You're going to be hitting hitting ones. You're going to be hitting ones on that thing. You're not rolling much. You got to wait until your little bar, which creeps back up pretty quickly, based on your willpower. Still, I think. Because you're still doing that. This is still an RPG. You're still up, leveling up and applying your skill points and everything. All that. Yep. So
the nice thing is you don't you can swap between the characters in real time. Okay. So if you were like, all right, I'm chopping away, She would be better in this situation. Just move over to her. It's a little bit like Final Fantasy VII Remake. You can do that in that. You can be Barret or Cloud or whatever. Get him, Cammy. Is her name Cammy?
My favorite, I think it is. My favorite part is when you get chest, like Zelda would just walk up to chest and, the little top would pop open. No, not my boy.
Nope.
He gets the chest.
Picks
and he
it
does
up,
this
shakes
whole
it.
shaking thing. And it's like he shakes it above his head. It's only like maybe 4 frames of animation, but it's just like it's very violent.
It's pretty stupid, to be honest.
I love it.
Yeah, he grabs it and goes shuk, 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 every time.
The stupid mush booms. The stupid mush booms always
the
blowing
peckers.
up. The original
Mushrooms are
creepers,
peckers.
man. They're the worst. If you hate creepers, you'll hate some mush booms.
Yep, they remind me of they're like slimes in Dragon.
That's true.
Dragon, what's it called? Not Dragon Warrior. That's what it was in Japan.
Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest. There it is. Those things are everywhere,
Also a great
and they're
game.
annoying
Yep.
as hell. And we had a whole episode about those. Everybody, like, we've had people say, "Hey, it might be time for a Dragon Quest episode." No, we did
We've had
that.
a lot of, yeah. Did we not do maybe we need to put out every time we do an episode, we should say the greatest podcast episode ever. Maybe we should take a page from,
Oh, just do it every
Square.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You say it
And then
long
that
enough,
way-
you start to believe it. Other people start to believe it. It's the greatest podcast ever recorded, we could say.
ever recorded. Why are you even listening to anything else? You're just wasting your time.
I mean, there's
Why do
something to that, right? Like, you hear a lot of people online whose entire clout game
Yeah.
is just saying they're awesome, even though they're not.
Yeah. And that's kind of what you have to do in business too. You always have to present that your business is being successful.
Yeah, but when you're full, I just can't. My life, I can't stand feeling like I'm full of shit. I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
So if I had told people it is the single greatest hour of podcasting you've ever heard, I know I'm lying. I can't do it. It's not worth it.
It might be because we're Gen Xers. I'm not sure if that's true. Maybe it's true outside of our generation, because I feel like a lot of baby boomers were taught that. I've heard a lot of baby boomers say that. No offense to baby boomers. That's just what I've heard from a lot of baby boomers. Seems to be a difference in, the take on it. If you exude success, you will attain success. Whereas Gen X seems more, yeah. Where that's just how we are. We're like, yeah, just take it or leave it. Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. I just feels disingenuous to say it is all.
Yeah. We want to be. Our generation wanted to be very authentic. We didn't want to bullshit. And I think this latest generation, whatever is coming up, is they seem to be gravitating towards the authentic. They want
the Z's.
We grew up with.
Talking about the
we grew up
Zoomers?
with ugly people in our movies, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
we did. That's true. That's true. A lot of people don't know
Character.
this, but like a lot of the movie stars in our life, they had bad teeth. They had weird. Their eyes were all squampus. They had like funky hair.
and that's the way we like.
That's right. They were real people. Damn it. That's the way it worked.
We
now
liked
everyone's too faked up now, and I think they're gonna make a turn.
And all that shit's all that generational stuff is all bullshit, because it varies between person to person. But generally speaking, Generation X experienced a certain number of things in our lives. We grew up during a time post Nixon that we all were now disenfranchised by the government. Just a shared experience.
Yeah.
From
and
our
I know,
childhoods,
I just
the
know
formative years.
in my heart of hearts that if I really wanted to have something blow up, I could be a bigger dick and it would work. It would actually benefit having something blow up. I just don't want to do that.
Like
It's
a
just not in me. So all the other dicks will get all the money. I don't care. Go for it.
But Square, man, look
Square.
at that.
Square.
They
They're squarely but ready
it
for
must have
Square.
worked, though, right? Because that's what they said. They said it's the greatest game, and some people still like. You would not believe the passion.
Oh, the
that some
fandom for
people
this
have
game.
for
Yeah.
Secret of Mana.
And they were so. Let's jump to this. They were so pissed as a collective group. I'm sure we're not everybody, but when they made this remake in 2018 of this game, they basically remade it top to bottom, 3D graphics. Same exact game, but I'm trying to think of a good example. Maybe Final Fantasy VII is a good example, but they remade the whole thing. People were really excited about it, and the game ended up being a bummer. Nobody likes it, and I don't know. I didn't play it, so I can't speak as to why. But my guess is sometimes when they do that, they forget what made it great and then lose their way, or I don't know. Remakes are tricky,
Right.
But that community was not happy a few years ago.
Yeah. Still, that's fine. If you love something, you want it to be handled with care.
Yeah, it's
Handle-
what you
handle my
want.
stuff with
That's
care.
why you're a fan. Take care of my
And
shit.
I played some of these through the mana collection.
Yeah.
The collection of mana, I think, is the actual. They try to be clever with it. Collection of mana.
Which sounds like
has-
a game in itself almost, doesn't it? Like the new game,
It does,
Collection of
doesn't
Mana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play them that way. The remake I mentioned is on Steam. It's got
Yes.
mixed reviews. It should be great because it's really just the same game, but there's something's lost, people say. And I haven't played it, so I can't speak to it. But
Right. I don't know. This is pretty perfect. I gotta agree. I emulated this thing on the Mr. FPGA.
yeah.
And for the SNES, and it was and I found the ROM that was the earliest release I could find, so I could have the most authentic experience. And it's a solid game.
Yeah,
It's
good.
It is solid. It definitely improves upon the Game Boy, which you would expect. But maybe it is worth saying that when you swing at something and you hit it, it takes the points and it hits it. Whereas on the Game Boy game, there was lots of times a lot of flashing, and you may even get knocked across the screen.
Mhm.
Just all kinds of weird gankiness on that first
Yeah.
one. But they learned a lot of stuff, and they Final Fantasy Adventures, and then once they got to the Secret of Mana, they really nailed it.
Now
Really nailed it.
I'm going to talk to you about the one that I think is the ugliest and the worst. Okay.
And you're going to be surprised.
Oh,
by
I know
what I have to
people.
say.
I know people love this one. I realize I'm wading into some serious dark water here when I say this,
Right.
but let me play this and then we'll talk about it. So that may sound like a PlayStation 1 game, and you'd be correct. This would be the title Legend of Mana for the PSX 1999. Detailed 2D hand-drawn graphics again. Animation for both character sprites and backgrounds. Has kind of a storybook feel to the whole thing. Combat, once again, real-time. Players using more weapons, magic, and special abilities, crafting mechanics, multiple storylines to explore all that stuff. You might say to yourselves, boy, as a Mana fan, as a Secret of Mana fan, I can't wait for what's next on the PlayStation. And what's next, in my opinion, is ugly as shit, and I don't like playing it. So there's my there you go. There's my hard controversial take of the day.
I found this more fascinating than all of the rest of them combined for several different reasons. I'm still trying to figure out if I really like it or not, because I think you have to finish. I think you have to finish Legend of Mana. Now, if you finish Secret of Mana, which I came pretty close to before, it's pretty consistent all the way through. I didn't get to play all the way through Legend of Mana, but what I did play was such a unique experience. It was like playing nothing I've ever played before, and I was kind of worried. I'm like, ooh, how am I going to describe this? But this is PlayStation 1. Everybody is pushing for 3D graphics. This thing not only used 2D hand-drawn sprites,
Yeah.
which wouldn't be that unusual, especially like for fighting games and things, but it also used 2D hand-drawn background graphics. So there's no real 3D involved. This felt more like it should have been on the Sega Saturn. I was like, wait a minute, this is on the PlayStation? Wow, because these sprites are legendary, in my opinion, and how they look.
Well, they're
The
okay.
2D
They
they are.
I don't like the style of them, I
freaking-
guess, but they move fine. They're animated.
They
fine.
move fine. They have personality. They're kind of larger on screen. There's something about this game that I absolutely love. I love the fact that it feels like almost open world because it's got this really weird mechanic. So you got this where you start out and you're at your home, and then you unlock an artifact, and then you place that on an overworld map. You get to decide where to put it. And I'm not even sure what the hell I'm doing because I'm not even sure what kind of changes it makes, because you have this, you go on the overworld and there's like these continents and things, and you can pick where you want to place it. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Because every time you move to a different spot, there's this row of characters that are going to influence things, like a Jin, like a genie. That's like one of the characters, and it changes every time you move stuff. And I'm like, what is all of this randomization that's going on, and how is it affecting my gameplay? And so this one, to me, like I said, it felt more fascinating because it felt like I was crafting my own adventure, which was totally different. Everything before this seemed very on rails. This seemed a lot more
I'll
Let
give you
me
that.
choose.
There's an openness to it, but I don't like the combat. The combat is based on basically Double Dragon. Like you'll encounter some creatures.
Like you're right. The combat is the least interesting part of this, and I don't even think you even have to do it. Everything I've seen so far leads me to believe that you don't even have to finish the game by doing any fighting at all. You don't even have to fight.
Wow.
You can choose it. You can choose not to fight.
That seems like a bad idea, though. For your game.
But yeah,
The
but I
actual
enjoyed
game part.
myself. I played for an hour and a half, didn't fight once, and I was just playing basically what looked like a point and click adventure, meeting these interesting characters, reading this interesting dialogue, and listening to this amazing music, because finally we get the full experience of multimedia on a CD.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
I find this one to be the most interesting out of everything we played this past week. Once again, like I said, I don't know if the gameplay is consistent throughout. I may get into a certain point and go, okay, this game has just failed. And that's probably the biggest complaint. I'm probably guessing that's probably what people are complaining about.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't a gigantic sales success. I know that, but that doesn't mean anything.
This felt more epic. This felt like the original vision. This all was through the life of Koichi Ishii. He was involved with all of these, and this felt like kind of like the final vision to me. It felt like finally he was given enough. The first game, the very first one, that Final Fantasy we talked about, that was actually supposed to be 5-disc on the Famicom disc system.
Oh wow!
And they had to pare it down to a Game Boy cartridge.
Yeah,
crazy. That's so much smaller.
Yeah.
And then the second one was going to be on, the SNES CD.
Right.
And then they had to pare it all back and put what they did there, and it was really good. But here it feels like no holds. No holds. We can finally.
I just wish they wouldn't have said, "Hey, let's make Final Fight the combat mechanic."
Right.
Like that's boring. Like have me do. I don't know what I wanted exactly, but I could have gone just do top down like you did last time.
I do think it was a very confusing time. I try to think back, and I read a lot of these interviews with these creators, and I'm like, man, it had to be totally different. I mean, most of these guys had been working in the industry for a while, and nothing had taken quite the leap. I mean, you kept getting more storage space. That was always the problem. It's like, oh, I need more memory. But it was always still sprite work, right? It was always just sprite work, and then all of a sudden, 3D.
Yeah,
it changes everything.
It does. 3D gives you the like. You're not wrong. We talk about this all the time. The shift to 3D was a massive design language change.
Yeah,
and it took them a while to get their heads around it, but everybody was pushing for it so hard that some really meaningful 2D projects either got overlooked, canceled, or didn't sell very well because people are like, 2D, that's old. Now we look back and go, no, you should have done more of this. Like, this is awesome. Make more 2D, cool, intricate looking, rad sprite-based stuff. And they were afraid to. And I don't blame them. The sales were leaning 3D. So, of course, that's what you do. But you're right. This game, I think, suffered from just the time it came.
I might also be suffering right now because I might be suffering from, I'm not sure what to call it. Last week, we did Legend of Dragoon.
We sure did.
That's right.
No, Panzer Dragoon.
No, Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah, there's no legend in there.
Legend. I've seen Legend so much this week. It's totally confused me. But yeah, the Dragoon, Panzer Dragoon. So we did that. And for some reason, and then before then, we did we did the fight games that were also on the Sega Saturn. So, I mean, recently I've seen so many sprite-based games that were lingering around that I never saw once the PS hit. Once the PlayStation hit, I didn't see any of this stuff.
I know, because you avoided it like I did. You thought 3D was too cool, and why are we messing around with 2D still? We thought we were seeing a giant sea change. We were, but we didn't realize how much better the 2D stuff would age versus the janky-looking 3D bullshit would age.
And I think because all this stuff is still so new to me in the last month or so, I get very excited about it. So I may be painting it because of my latest excitement about rediscovering or discovering this stuff for the first time. So maybe I'm kind of overselling.
No,
maybe I'm kind of like Square. I'm selling it a little bit too much, but
I'm doing the same thing.
To me, it's
I'm doing exactly the same thing. In fact, I started playing that. I think I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. There's a turn-based series of games from Konami. They're about to get a remaster themselves, and they're called Suikoden 1 and 2. I think I'm saying that right. Okay. And at the time, people really liked them. They were turn-based, fun, story-based, kind of Final Fantasy-ish games, but they were 2D. They were on the PlayStation, and they didn't sell well because, again, this had this stigma. Well, those are old graphics. We want new graphics, right? Mm-hmm. But I went back and played these. They're really freaking good.
Yeah.
Like legitimately good. And they look great because 2D stuff looked great on the 32-bit era hardware. Yeah. And so, I don't know. I'm glad. I guess that's why we do this show, is we get to bring up these things and look at them from this perspective. Oh, yeah. But in the year, 1999, if I'm looking at Legend of Mana or I'm looking at Twisted Metal, I'm going Twisted Metal because that's the brain I had then.
Yeah,
that's how I thought, and now I'm having different thoughts. It's good to challenge what you think your tastes are.
It really is. Yeah. But I hear a lot of people, because it is such a departure. Legend of Mana is such a huge departure from Secret of Mana in just about every way you can imagine, other than it existing kind of in the same universe of the whole idea of the mana story, weapons, magic, and special abilities, combat, real time, that kind of stuff. But they are really two different flavors for sure. So it's okay if you are land in one camp or the other. They are very different games, and it's kind of hard to compare one to the other.
Do you remember the year 1995 and the game Trials of Mana? No, you don't, because it only came out in Japan. It didn't come here. America never got it, you bastards. What the hell? I guess it didn't sell enough, so they...
Right. What a bunch of BS. That was the... so that would be the one between... So this released between Secret of Mana and Legend of Mana, and maybe that's the reason why we didn't get the connective tissue. There was Trials of Mana, which only released for the Super Famicom in 1995, like you said. I don't know anything about it, but they're in 2000... Because it wasn't called Trials of Mana, it was called Seiken Densetsu 3 in Japan. So it was obviously part of the series, but we didn't get it here until 2019, and of course we had updated graphics.
Yeah, this version we're looking at here on video, by the way, is what you're seeing.
Yeah, and I tested it just a little bit, and I was like, okay, that's cool, but I didn't want to get too deep into it because I knew most likely most of our listeners didn't play it until it came out in 2019, so it kind of feels like a new game.
I want to see. It's 50.
Rabides. I hate the stupid Rabides.
It's 50. Rabides. It's 50% off right now.
Secret of Mana 2.
50% off. It's only $24. Came out in 2000, actually, April of 2000. And this looks like I might want to play this.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
It's pretty cool. Now, this is supposed to be the 2019. I thought it was a 2019. Now, maybe this is another one that was released.
No, 2018 was the Secret of Mana remake, right? Hold on.
Yeah, but then 2019, I thought we got the Trials. See, there's just so many Manas.
See, Secret of Mana. Okay, so I'm going to look this up here just to make sure. Secret of Mana, the old 3D remake.
Right.
2018. That has mixed reviews. Nobody's real happy about that. And then Trials of Mana was April 24th, 2020.
Okay, 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that one is highly reviewed. It did real good here. So I'm wondering if I ought not to
pick it up.
This a shot. I mean, it's completely new.
Look, it's no Legend of Mana.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, maybe it isn't, but I really like the look of this engine. This looks nice.
Yeah, it's a very good looking engine. It's very modern, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I might do it. It's half off right now. I might do it.
See, it looks like it's almost got some of the. It looks like it kind of pulls a little bit from everything. I may be wrong. I really wanted to check this one out, but I didn't feel like I had enough. What's the word? Bandwidth this week for to throw that one in there too.
The Mana fans seem to like this one. I'm reading some Reddit posts. People are.
But what do the Mana fans think?
What are the who's? The what?
The Mana fans.
Oh,
you said the Mana fans love it. But what do the Mana fans think?
The Mana fans' noses are too far up their own buttholes to have a comment. They can't comment. Well, anyway, that happened and didn't happen until recently. So I hope you enjoyed waiting 25 years for that to come out.
Yeah.
And that you like it now. And that is our brief look at these games. They're really good. They're influential. Yeah. They're rad. They're more than just a alternative Zelda game, in my opinion.
And they're fun to, and we didn't even get to explore it a lot, but I would like to explore one day. We've talked about doing that episode on translation, and we're going to remember that name, Ted Woosley, who did the English translations. I think it was I think it had 30 days to translate.
Oh my gosh.
The Secret of Mana. And I was thinking, that's nothing.
No.
I played the game like in 10 hours. And I was like, but imagine all the different possibilities and permeations and how much text there must be there. And I'm like, and then you got to like, it's not like a movie where like when you do a movie, you can see the characters on screen and it's always those characters on screen. And it's always a translation of what people are seeing. Whereas in a video game, that voice prompt, that language prompt may pop up, but at what point in time?
Yeah.
You know, and where is the character on the screen? And there's just like a million questions. And I'm like, 30 days? Ted Woosley, you did it. You did it, my friend.
You did it, Ted. You did it.
Did it.
Good job, man. For real, though, I think localization is like a really, I don't know if I'd call it an art. It is an art, I guess. There's an art to it. You know, because you got to translate not just direct language to language stuff. You have to translate meaning and subtlety and characterization. Like, it's not easy. So when this is done well, I'm always impressed. When it's done poorly, I laugh like a maniac.
And that's what it makes it almost more memorable.
If it's cheesy,
that's what I go with. So yeah, it's like it really stands out because it's like if you know what they mean, but it made you laugh. And not to mention Ted also, I watched some interviews I read some stuff.
Oh, I love Ted also on the Apple TV network.
Yeah, Ted also is also
great.
Yeah. But you know, he injected his own humor in it, and some people like that, and some people don't care for Ted's humor. So
I see. Ted up to his old tricks again, they'd say.
Right. Yeah. So and you know, Japanese really love a good pun. And translated that into, you know, English. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for us to talk more about that. I almost feel like we need an expert though. I feel like we need a couple of experts on the show when we do that one though.
Yeah. Somebody who really, somebody who does this for a living. We'd love to talk to them. If you're out there and you do like translation or localization, let us know if you want to do a little quickie. Doesn't even have to be that big a deal. Just
look, hey, I just saw this. I looked up Trials of Mana to see where it was at. It's everywhere. But if you got the PlayStation Plus, I do included Trials of Mana. Trials of Mana, baby. I'm loading it up now.
All right. Well, I want to get this game.
Yeah.
I think
you have the PlayStation Plus, right? Don't you have that?
I do. And if it's on there. Yeah. Wait, the basic one or the mid one or the big one? Which one?
Trials of Mana, and I'm loading it now.
Which version
it's sending me a two-factor authentication.
Okay, we got to find out which version of Plus that is, but if it's the version in the
No, I have the big Plus. I have the plus.
You have the middle one or because there's 3 tiers. Do you know which one?
I have the one with the retro stuff, which is like $20.
Okay, that's that's tier 3. I have tier 2.
Tier 2.
I think maybe I knocked it down to 1. I can't remember. I remember feeling like tier 2 wasn't as worth it as I thought it was. I was a little bit bummed with it. But tier 1's fine. They get free games every month and all that. But maybe it's in there and I just haven't looked. I'll have to go look. You know what? When the show's over, if it's on there.
Included with games catalog in your PlayStation Plus subscription.
Then it's the basic one. I'm in either way. I'm going to play that today.
Oh, it's a PS4 version. So yeah, probably so.
Yeah, it'll play.
Oh, it's got Dual Shock on it. Oh,
what? Dual Shock support in this day and
remote
age?
play supported too?
What? All right.
Oh, they got a demo.
Yeah, they got demos. You love the demos. Remember the demos back in the day? Brian would only do demos for a long time.
That's right. I
feel like you got over that weird demo period.
It took me a while. I got over
it. Yeah, that game sounded like this.
Duran, hey, you're up. Pull yourself together.
This dialogue's awesome. Here comes more.
Commence the final match for the Sword Mastery Tournament Youth Division. Combatants, forward!
I'll break you like a dry noodle.
Give it a try. I dare you. Duran, hey, you're up.
Hey, it's playing again. Hey, Duran.
I'll break you like a dry noodle, which is much easier than the wet noodle.
It's a dry, brittle noodle. If it was a wet noodle, you'd have elasticity, you'd have resistance.
Right.
It wouldn't be great. Well, anyway, there's your Mana series look. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and we hope you play a little of those sometime soon. Do this with us now, though, won't you?
Destroy it.
Time to play Guess Our Game. This is where we play some audio from an old game. We give a couple of hints. We give each other 3 questions, and we have to guess what each other brought. I'll start today with a Game Boy Color game from 2001, Brian.
Oh, color, you say? Okay. What'd you say? What year?
2001.
Oh, I thought you said 2009. Let's say it's not possible.
That would make it 22 years old. This game.
Gotcha.
And I will give you one hint ahead of all this. This was a revelation that this even existed to me this week. I was surprised by it. Okay,
it has been revealed.
It has been revealed. Here's the sound.
My ears.
Now here's some actual gameplay.
I know that song.
Any guesses or questions?
Game Boy Color. Okay,
Yep.
so is this is it a Nintendo property? Is there a first party?
It is. This is where things get weird. It is kind of.
Okay.
It's a conjunction. It's with conjunction.
It's a function conjunction.
It's a. Let's say it's the. I just don't want to give away the name because it might give it away. But the developer of the title works with Nintendo all the time, and in this case did as well. But let's just say that was a weird.
But it's not Nintendo, but they work with Nintendo a lot. So
Yeah.
it feels like a Nintendo property.
Yeah, it's a weird collaboration. I'll say that.
Okay.
It is published by Nintendo. I should say that. So they published it.
Okay, yeah, published by Nintendo. Yeah. But developed by a close third.
Yeah, very
Okay.
close third party that they use a lot for a lot of things, including something, and I'll say this may give it away, including something that is almost identical to the game you're hearing right now.
Oh, okay.
It's very weird, actually, what I found out.
Okay. Something Scott found out. Okay. Okay. My second guess. Let's see. Is it a side-scrolling?
It
platformer?
is not a side-scrolling platformer. You have one question left.
Okay. Did I ruin myself by adding platformer? Let's see. Game Boy Color. It's not so.
Yeah.
Is it? Now you played a lot of golf this past week. Is it sports related?
Yes.
That way I can still squeeze some stuff in there. Okay,
Yes.
sports related.
It is sports related.
Is it some kind of? I keep trying to think of. I didn't have a Game Boy Color.
Oh, I loved mine.
Did I have a Game Boy Color?
I had a yellow
I think
one.
I did, but it was very brief.
I had a
I'm trying to
yellow
remember
one,
what
and I
games
took
I
it.
had.
I took it everywhere. It was my toilet time machine.
And you said it wasn't. So it's not going to be Mario since it's not first party, right?
Definitely not Mario. Although your questions are over, but yeah.
Let's see. Is it Pac-Man Golf?
That is. Let's just double check. Hold on. Is that
Is there
correct?
such thing as a Pac-Man Golf?
Incorrect. It is not Pac-Man Golf. But this is a little bit, not a cheat, but it's a little bit of a cheat. This is a really weird thing. It is called Mobile Golf by Camelot. And it came out the exact same time as Mario Golf in Japan. It never came here, although I have a ROM that's been localized. I don't know where that came from, but it totally works, which is where I captured this from. It is, how do I put this? It is exactly the same game.
It's
With
same
the
game.
only exception is Mario's not in it. None of the Nintendo characters are in it, and none of the worlds, none of the courses are based on Nintendo things, and there's no Nintendo music. Other than that, graphically, functionally, structurally, it's the same.
It sounded like they were
game.
using some because that song is really familiar. That sounds like they were using some public domain type music. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, and it may be. I don't know.
Right.
Like the way I'm playing it is just, it's weird to me how it's like moment to moment, it is the same ass game.
Right.
Just flipped to not
Mobile
have Nintendo
golf.
stuff in it. So why though? Why does it exist?
Right.
Mario is popular in Japan. I don't get it. Like, why even do
That's an
this?
interesting question. Where they were trying to appeal to the non-Mario fans, like, it is kind. I'm looking at it now. it is maybe a little more. Maybe they were afraid that people would think that Mario was too childish. Maybe it's a Mario game Golf, exclusively released in Japan on the Game Boy Color. Is a Mario Golf game. Weird in terms of gameplay and storyline is very similar to the English Mario Golf. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe this is the point. The mobile adapter Game Boy, a Japanese exclusive accessory. So this was an accessory seller.
Yeah, they had an accessory for it to let you play share scores is what it was. So you could
connect
with
to the
your
internet
cell
by
phone
hooking up to a cellular device.
Yeah. So it was an adapter that went to your cell phone. You would connect, and then if your friend had a hole in one, the stats would now reflect that on his device because he has the device also. So yes, that is one defining difference. But there's no reason they couldn't have done that with Mario Golf. Like why have this weird thing with these?
They probably assumed that most people who had a mobile adapter would probably be adults. I don't know. It's an interesting question. I would like to see if there was like some.
But the kids,
it kind of feels like that.
But the characters are still
chibi,
very chibi and kid-ish. Like, there's nothing about it where I'd go, oh, it's very adult now suddenly. Like this to me just seems like a strange aberration. Like, why make two of these? Or why not just, if you're going to do the mobile thing, because, look, mobile phones were not there yet in America, but Japan was doing some wild stuff. Why not just have their version, the Japanese version of Mario Golf, have this functionality? I don't get it.
Right.
Wouldn't it sell more? Like, these are not characters These are a bunch of generic-looking weirdos.
Right.
It's very weird. So I ended up playing a bunch of it, and it's very good. But it also is Mario Golf.
More now.
Yeah, it's all the same. The only difference is these courses don't have pipes around that Mario might go through, or different like Mario-ish things happening. It's more like, hey, here's a traditional course with grass and
look at
whatever.
This. You actually could. It looks like, are they unlockable? Had Mario, Princess Peach, Yoshi, and Foreman Spike.
Yeah, there are also some third-party stuff you could unlock.
Yeah.
So you could do some character unlocks and stuff. But the main game was never about Mario or Luigi or
No.
The Mario Club.
I stand by how you sold this. Absolutely.
Isn't it weird?
Good.
It's freaking weird.
That's wild.
Well, that was one of the games I played this week while I tried to get my golf on, and I have to admit it was pretty fun. Let's play yours. Do you have a couple of hints for me to start?
Sure. We're heading back to 1995, the release year for the PlayStation.
Ooh,
that's where this one's from.
Holy shit! Here we go. Oh my gosh, I know this.
Yes, you do.
If this were a plane crash, I could eat the other passenger.
It's Gex.
I nailed it.
It's Perfect. Gex, isn't it?
So good.
Because you know who that is. That's who's the comedian?
That would be
he does Wayne Don't Tell Me Now. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. Dana Gould. That's it.
Yeah.
That was a 3DO game first, and then
it was. This was a port that was released for the PlayStation. It was originally a 3DO game.
Yeah, and the 3DO game version of Gex was very cool, and everyone thought, "Oh, this will be their Mario. This is their Crash Bandicoot or whatever." But it wasn't.
It was not.
No, but it's not. It's nice that it got some, some love elsewhere.
Absolutely. Good job guessing it right away. I wasn't sure if you would or not. It was kind of one of those things. It's like, I'm taking a chance here. It'll either be hilarious because it'll be frustrating. He won't quite get it, or he'll guess it right away.
Yeah.
I took a chance. I spun the wheel.
You did.
And Scott won.
And it was, boy, Gex is kind of ugly now. Ugh. But at the time,
we're
I thought
definitely
this
gonna have
was
to do
cool.
a Gex episode because he lived and died in a certain era, and I kind of always love visiting those kind of things.
Yeah, this
Gex
is a weird
the Gecko, Gex 3 Deep Undercover.
Yeah,
or Deep Cover.
You don't ever hear about anyone reviving Gex, do you?
No.
And then Dana Gould yapping the whole time. All right, nicely done, Scott. I win today.
Good job, Scott.
I congratulate myself. All right.
Good job.
Time for some listener feedback.
Welcome to the treasure room.
I'm going to start things off today with an email, Brian. And this came to playretroshow@gmail.com from Flo, who says, fellas, thanks for making this show. Brings back so many great memories from my childhood, from my younger brother beating me constantly in Street Fighter 2 by just mashing freaking buttons, to playing with and watching my dad play Privateer and the Wing Commander series. Loved that episode and forwarded it to my dad, and he got a big kick out of it. I hope I didn't swear too much for your dad. Anyway, I know you get a ton of suggestions, but one that I have is Master Blaster for the NES. Who runs Bartertown? I haven't gotten back into it since my teen years, but remember it kicking my ass. It had 2.5 different play styles. One being a 2D platformer in your tank, and your tiny little guy could also get out of it, and a top-down Zelda dungeon-like shooter. I think this was one that you would enjoy, and maybe one the rest of your audience may not already know about. Definitely would suggest being able to set up saves, since it is long and can be brutal without them. Appreciate you both. Sent from my space phone, Flo.
Flo.
I
believe
game.
I have this one.
I played the shit out of this game
on the real
day.
one.
Yeah, it's great. Still good.
I've been looking to play something on my real NES that operates back here. And I believe I do have the cart, so that is definitely something. Maybe next time we swing back around the NES era, maybe we do just that.
It was originally. Oh, where's the game? Hold on, this is not the one I'm looking for. Master Blaster game. Wasn't there a
Master? I always want to say Master Blaster though.
Same.
Always get it wrong.
Same.
Who runs Bartertown?
But
not Blaster Master.
That's what messes me up. But there's like a version on Steam that's pretty good. Let's see, what version is this? There is I want to say this is the direct port of the NES version. It's only $4.99 on Steam. Oh. That might be worth picking up.
Or you could get it. Oh, Blaster Master Zero. Oh, what is this one? Never saw this one.
Yeah. Isn't there a Genesis and Super NES game? I think there are.
It probably is.
Yeah. Blaster Master. It is Blaster Master, right?
Yeah, Blaster Master. Got it right that time. Nailed it.
Let's see. I just want to find this real quick. It is... Here we go. Platform, run and gun. Did it never go anywhere else? That can't be right.
I don't know, but I'm looking at this one from 2017. That's amazing. This Blaster Master Zero for the Switch from 2017.
Oh, you know what?
Nice.
Oh, here it is. North American exclusive sequel, Blaster Master 2 for the Genesis. That's where I played it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where I played it. Game Boy has a bunch of stuff. There's a WiiWare version. That's all shut down now. 3DS got a version on the eShop, and like I said, there is the Evercade collection has that
interesting. I haven't talked about the Evercade in a while.
Yeah, it's been a bit. You know what? I'll play this.
Yeah.
I like that game. I would have happy. I think there's a huge fandom for that. We should play that.
Oh yeah. We should definitely, next time we come around to the NES era again, we should totally do that. If you've never noticed, that's what Play Retro does. We kind of take it era to era.
That's how we do. Era. All right. Thanks for the email. We also have a voicemail about Battlezone. Check this out.
Hey, this is for Play Retro. Just had a suggestion. I'm not sure if it's 2 words or 1 word. Battlezone. Back in the early 80s, the game came out in the arcades. You stare into the periscope. You can never reach that volcano in the distance. Hide behind the see-through pyramids and cubes. One shot, you can't reload until it disappears across the horizon.
Yeah.
The controls were just 2 levers, push forward, pull back.
Yes.
Great game. But also, did not maybe also know that a game sort of like it came out in the late 90s, well, under the same name, but it was a real-time strategy. You were in the trenches with the tanks, building builders and all kinds of stuff and mechs, and you were jumping around to Venus and Mars, and your enemies were the Russians. So just hoping you could, I don't think you've done it yet. Really enjoy Play Retro. Just listen to the one on Metal Gear. Looking forward to Jurassic Park next week. So this is Chuck B on Discord.
Chuck D on Discord. Big D. All right, so here's the deal, Chuck D. If that is your real professional
Did you
street
say Chuck
name.
B or Chuck D?
Is it Chuck D? What'd you say?
I don't know. I thought you said Chuck B. But
it might be B. Wrong. Maybe it is B. Anyway, Battlezone, all-time classic. I won a digital Timex watch
fancy.
In a local competition on Battlezone when I was like 13 or something.
Nice.
And I won and went home with this fancy freaking watch on my. It's a cheesy ass watch. I don't have it still. I wish I did. I would love to still have that. But I won this competition in this arcade. Went up a bunch of other players, and I got the high score in Battlezone. So
I love vector-based games. They kind of, sprites took over quickly. There was kind of a battle for a while. It was like, oh, we're going to do vector, we're going to do sprites. We're going to do, I don't know, let's see.
You know what the good news for vector was? It would come back, but it would come back in the form of being, they were the foundation of the vertices in 3D anyway. So
yeah, that's right.
So vector in the end won,
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Kind of, sort of. And they also, that's what those red vector lines would have in our little virtual boys and stuff too. Yeah. But I do remember Battlezone, and it was so cool. I loved playing this. It was like what was the Periscope one too? There was a couple of them where you had to literally lean your face up against it with all the sweat of all the previous
Battlezone
gamers.
Definitely had that. You couldn't see it unless you put your head right on there. And then they had a submarine game that was kind of like that.
Yeah, that's the submarine game I remember too, I believe. Is that Seawolf or something, maybe?
Seawolf, that's it.
Yeah, or Periscope. I can't remember. It was something like that. Anyway, you'd put your head against where the other man had his sweaty face. It's a terrible idea.
Where the other man. Oh my gosh. Yep, I'm looking at that arcade right now. Oh no, you know what that one had? There were a couple of versions of that cabinet. One where you had to look in the periscope hole, and the other one with the widescreen.
The only one I ever saw was the one where you had to look in the hole. That was the only one I ever saw.
Yeah, we were a lot less concerned about people's facial oils back then.
Right. Yeah. Put your face in there. Go ahead, and put your face in there. Go ahead and get some pink eye. Go ahead,
stick
it in there.
There it is. You can look right.
I got a bad case of the Battlezone eye.
Yeah. But there was the hot minute there. That was the thing. And
that's
for me,
Seawolf. That's the one.
That's Seawolf. My love though for Battlezone goes deep, so I would be happy to return to that. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man.
Do it.
Thanks for your voicemail. You can send voicemails just like Chuck B or D did to 801-471-0462, or you can email us playretroshow@gmail.com. Also, that voicemail number also doubles as a text line, so you can send us text there as well. That would be fine. Our next discussion.
That would be fine.
It would be just fine. Our next discussion is going to be jumping up to the 64-bit era for a hot minute and talking about Banjo-Kazooie because it just turned 25 years old, everyone.
Yes, it did. Can you believe it? 1998, Banjo-Kazooie, a game I never really played. Thought I did, and we talked about that back on our Crash Bandicoot because I kept getting the two confused for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was that year. 98 were so many good games, and people forget one of those games was Banjo-Kazooie, the original on the N64. Banjo-Tooie to come after that. We got a GBA game as well, which I have actually played, and it's weird. Not to mention all the spin-outs and other stuff, and why we don't have one today. There's actually a pretty good theory as to why Banjo-Kazooie lies dormant. Is it the Tooie or is it the Kazooie the problem? Is it the bird or is it the beast? Well, you might argue that it's a Microsoft problem because they own that shit now, so I don't know. I don't know what their problem is. I think they should make a new one. That Nuts and Bolts game that came out on the 360 was excellent.
Yes.
And by the way, worth your time now. If you've got Game Pass, it's on there. Just play it. It's great. It holds up, and maybe is the foundation for what even like Tears of the Kingdom ended up being this year. Very similar gameplay. So anyway, Banjo-Kazooie finally getting its spotlight right here on Play Retro, and that will be next Wednesday. That's right. You're getting a show like two and a half days?
Like 2 days. It's going to be a squeeze.
Yeah, it's going to be real tight. We're going to have to really get that one in there, but we're making it happen for you at home, the people we love. All right, so look forward to that. That'll be next week. In the meantime, please join us on our Patreon. It's a new month. That's a perfect time to join up and show support for your favorite show talking about retro stuff. Patreon.com/playretro. Next Wednesday, I'll have an announcement about something cool regarding our patron stuff that even Brian doesn't know about yet. I'll talk to him about it. I know. I haven't even talked to you. This is like, it's total, just came to my head right now.
Sweet.
I'm going to tell you about it later.
Do it.
Patreon.com/playretro. Be like Spaghetti Syntax. Love that guy. He's making he's making a Vampire Survivors like game with the core crew in it. I'm hoping Dunaway's in there too. We'll have to talk to him.
Please,
see what he's doing. Anyway, he's a programmer guy and real smart dude. Anyway, love him. Spaghetti Syntax, Seb, and Colin Nelson all have joined us this week. No commercials ever. Pre-show content every week. Monthly benefits and some new stuff I'll talk about next week. right here on Play Retro. One other thing I was going to mention about that, what was it? It was that, Brian mentioned it at the top of the show. We talked about it mostly in pre-show, but we are on the new, extremely popular Threads social network. If you would like to follow us, Brian is at Brian Dunaway. I am at Actual Scott with 2 T's on the Scott. All right? Not the actual part. But actual spelled like it is. Scott. S-C-O-T-T. Wait, S-C-O-T-T. I'm making it home so much harder than it needs to be.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, threads.net to get the app, so go check it out. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of a first real Twitter possible replacement ever.
Right.
Everything
Not that we're
else-
trying to replace Twitter, but hey, why not?
I don't care. I do kind of want to
Neat.
replace it. The place sucks these days, so yes,
Yeah.
replace it. Be better and stay better. How about that? That's what I want.
Competition.
Competition's good.
Fart.
That will that will do it for us. Don't forget to send us those emails, playretroshow@gmail.com, 801-471-0462. And as always, you can find us on the website, frogpants.com/playretro, where all the past episodes and feeds and links and stuff, they're all there. Brian, anything else to say before we leave today?
Best podcast on the internet. And
Holy
it's
shit.
Mana.
Oh, it's mana. Okay. And the best pronunciation of mana on the internet. Thanks, everybody, for
Mana.
listening. We'll see you next time.
Get more at frogpants.com.
I'll break you like a dry noodle.
Mm-hmm.